Hey, what's up, everybody? Jaythestingray here. This is going to be a video response to my buddy Jay, and his YouTube channel name is AbsoluteSublime1. And yeah, Jay is put up a video about underrated horror films. This is a really interesting topic to me. It's he posted about this on YouTube a couple days ago, and really enjoyed it. And you get to thinking about underrated horror films, and to the general public, to the average viewer, you know, the shit we watch on a regular basis is underrated, or is they've never heard of it or whatever. But I went and I did some searches on the internet, and I went and I came across a few lists, from some fairly big websites like Reader's Digest was one, and they have an article called Nine Scariest Horror Movies You've Never Seen. And I went and looked at it, and they were all big budget films that were released to wide audiences in theaters. You know, they had large releases all over the country, and they all came near me. And we don't get a lot of the smaller stuff around here, so this was all big budget stuff. And I had seen every one of them, and it's just that's how people look at it. They were all big budget stuff, and the nowadays with the internet, it's so hard to find stuff that's underrated because somebody always loves something. You know, like I don't know, Popcorn from 1990. People love that movie. I enjoyed that movie quite a bit, but it's just you don't find gems that you can just find that you've never heard of before anymore. With the onset of the internet, everyone loves these types of films. So it's hard for me to kind of comment on this because I had mentioned I posted a comment to Jay, and I had said 30 Days a Night was one of the ones that I had mentioned, and he said he didn't really think that was underrated because it had been talked about so much. And a lot of people enjoyed it, but a lot of people hated it also. It's like it's kind of hard for me to say, because especially with studios like Scream Factory, a lot of these small movies are getting pretty good size releases on Blu-ray, and it's just hard to determine what's underrated these days because like Night of the Creeps, before the DVD or before the Blu-ray release of Night of the Creeps a few years ago, a lot of people had never heard of Night of the Creeps before, and now it's become a commonplace, common term for us horror fans, to bring up movies like that. You know, Talking to you guys, the horror community about underrated horror films is different than talking to just a general movie fan or just a general moviegoer in general or a moviegoer in general. But a few of the ones I have on my list here, a few of the ones I mentioned to Jay was Cemetery Man. That's that one gets a lot of love these days too, but it's a great horror comedy. The Sentinel, uh, which is a great movie as well from maybe the late 70s. 30 Days a Night is one I already talked about, and I was just trying to get something a little newer in there. Parents, Psycho 2 and 3 I put in there because I enjoy both those films quite a bit, and people. I mean, now you hear more people talking about it, but 10 years ago, no one talked about either one of those movies. And let's see, I got Tourist Trap in here. Love that movie, one of my favorite. I don't know what you'd call it a slasher, supernatural slasher. Uh, I have Exorcist 3. That's probably one of the best sequels. I'm going to do a video about the best sequels sometime soon. I'm definitely going to put that in there. Love Exorcist 3. I got to pop that one in again. That's one that needs a Blu-ray release too. I'd love to see Scream Factory do a treatment on that one. That'd be a great film to see. The Hidden, and that's like a horror sci-fi, the Jack Shoulder movie. A lot of you guys have probably seen it. Yeah, love that movie. We'll need to watch that one again too. And then I have Innocent Blood. That's the Landis movie. That I saw. That's actually on. That's in HD on HBO Go right now. If you guys want to check that out. I'm definitely gonna. I have the DVD, the old snapper case of that, but I may go back and watch it, see how the HD transfer looks. Awesome movie, really really underrated. Another horror comedy. April Fool's Day, one of my favorite slashers. You hear a lot of talk about this one as well, but relatively relatively underrated, I guess. And Night of the Creeps, I mentioned that earlier. A newer film I want to talk about was Headspace from 2005. I recently saw this film. I don't remember. Oh, I think Spanners Jerem 669 had recommended this one, and I checked it out, and really really cool film. Really reminded me a lot of some of Cronenberg stuff. It's a really low budget film. It's got some cameos. Dee Wallace has a spot in there. Uh, Quite a few horror icons show up in there. Um, can't think of the names right off, but has a few other famous horror folks in there, and acting is really good in that one. It's got a low budget feel to it, but definitely worth checking out for a rental or whatever. That's Headspace from 2005. Another one I have on here is 5150 Elms Way, and that's a French Canadian film. It's not the original title; it's the English translation. Really, really awesome film. Kind of got swept under the rug when it came out a few years ago, and I've got maybe a Region 2 or Region B Blu-ray of that, and definitely need to watch that one again and may do a review on it. Check that one out. That's a really good movie. Uh, Targets from 1968. I think this may be Peter Bogdanovich's first movie, and I just saw this probably 3 or 4 years ago, and just really, really love this movie. It's really shocking, especially with the some of the violence that's happened, some of the shootings, stuff like that. It's got a sniper in the movie who is just basically sniping people out from various places, and some of it reminded me a lot of the Beltway sniper. So really worth checking out. I think Roger Corman may put that one out in '68. Infestation, maybe 2005 maybe. It's like a movie with giant bugs in it. It's a horror comedy, really really good watch. Versus, the Japanese movie. A lot of you guys have probably heard of that one. A lot of you guys have probably seen it. If you haven't, check it out. I think it's underrated, even though it does get talked about quite a bit here and there. And the last one I have on this list is Dead Girl from 2008. I haven't really heard all that much talk about it lately. When it first came out, I heard some talk about it, but that's one I enjoyed a lot. Another independent film that was really well done and should get more praise. But so many more movies I can mention, but it's like, I went to go look at some of these lists, and there were like most underrated horror movies. It was like Evil Dead, Phantasm. It's like, dude, those fucking that's on everybody's like rotation. That shit like that, like Dawn of the Dead. it can't get more. It's not underrated. People talk about that. People love those movies, and they should. But I don't know. It's just hard for me to kind of determine what's underrated and what's not these days. With the internet and everything, it's just hard. But really, really cool idea for a video, Jay. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Peace.